What's up, guys? Ricky Royal here. I want to share a little mind hack you can use to get inside the woman's head and understand her so that the seduction process goes smoother and is enjoyable for you and the woman. So the first thing we're going to talk about is astrological signs. Now, a lot of you guys probably are like, I don't believe in that stuff. That's a bunch of bullshit. But actually, I found that getting to know astrological signs, what are the characteristics of people with that sign, is actually very advantageous when you're getting to know people really quickly, like say at a bar, which me and my buddy just came from tonight. So why that's helpful is you can ask them just playfully. It's usually playful, and a lot of girls are more into this than guys are, but just ask them what their sign is. Now, when you do this, you get to know certain blueprints about them, certain characteristics. Now, some of you may be out there and be like, well, I don't believe in that. That's fine. I totally get it. But all an astrological sign is just a blueprint of some characteristics those people have in a certain month. That'd be, say, like, I believe in cars, but I don't believe in the brands of cars. Well, it's like the brands of cars, like if you know what a Ford truck is compared to a Lamborghini, you know that certain cars have certain characteristics. Now, you may not like that. You may be like, well, that's weird, or no, I don't think that that's true. That astrological sign could describe me as a person, because maybe you don't want to feel like you're figured out, right? Maybe you want to be a unique little whatever. But there actually is some truth to it when you look at astrological signs and then you look at the people that are born from that month. You'll notice that they have certain characteristics. They're all not all the same. They're still their own unique individual, right? And the same thing I like with cars. It's like the same thing. Like, not every Ford truck is the same, but you know, oh, it's a Ford truck F-150 or whatever. Clearly not a car guy. That they have certain specific characteristics that make them stand out. You're like, oh, okay. So how does that information help you when you're getting to know women really fucking quickly at night? Well, it's a mind matrix or a blueprint of some of their behavior patterns, right? And now some people may be asking, like, well, are you just teaching guys how to manipulate women based on their astrological signs, right? They're like, are you just trying to manipulate them? And it's like, no, you're actually understanding their blueprints because people have certain chemistry. And depending on what you want to do, whether that is hook up that night or date them or a fuck buddy or whatever you decide as an individual person, right? Whatever you decide and the other person decides as well, right? The quicker you get to that is by understanding how that person thinks, how that person works, what is their blueprints, and seeing if you have chemistry with that, all right? So for me, personally, I like to ask astrological signs because I've seen that there's some truth to it. I've noticed people who are born in a certain month and the certain characteristics that they have are similar to the characteristics I've studied about. And so for me, when I know, I'm like, oh, this person is this person's that. Like, I know Sagittariuses are fiery individuals. They're fiery, a little bit more sexual. They're a little bit, if they're women, they're a little bit more forward, and they will actually be more seductive toward men than the other women that are not Sagittarius. So when I see a girl and she's like, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm like, okay. And I look for it in her behavior. If it works with the behavior of what I've studied about in the astrological signs, I'm like, okay, you're definitely a Sagittarius. You're very fiery. And she'll be like, I know, right? Or let's say a Taurus. Taurus are the sign of the most hedonistic of the signs. They like the flesh, which means they like to get physical. They like sexuality, right? So I'm like, oh, you're a Taurus. You like to be physical. You're the fucking bull, right? And so I like to flirt with them on that case. But that tells me, knowing that information, knowing that a girl that is the more sexual of the astrological signs, and yes, there are signs that are more sexual than others, more comfortable with their sexuality than others, gives you a little heads up, right? So if you're looking that night and your intent that night is to hook up with someone, get laid, horrible idea, right? God forbid we enjoy each other physically. That knowing that sign is going to tell you, oh, this person is more inclined to hook up, right? And let's say you're totally wrong. Okay, you're totally wrong. You could back off, right? But that could be a key indicator to be like, okay, that's the person that would work well with me. And you can study about how the signs are better. Let's go a step further with this. You can also do this, and this is another way people do this. without the astrological signs. Myers-Briggs, right? I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. Well, when you study something like that, psychology, you realize that people are categorized into certain blueprints of characteristics. And if you study that and you get to know that, people's personality details, you can figure out who is who and who you match with a lot faster. So, getting to know women, this is the higher level of it. This is the level of it when you're confident with yourself. When you can talk to a woman, you don't need anything from her. You're comfortable in your own presence and you just enjoy flirting with women and seeing where that experience goes. Then you can get into these subtle nuances. It takes a few years to get there, where you're talking to the girl and you're trying to figure them out. Even age is a thing. Like a lot of guys are like, oh, like we talked to some 21-year-olds tonight and I'm 30, right? And a lot of guys that are 30 are like, oh, well, that girl has so much power. She could have any guy she wants. But it's like, dude, is that how bosses think? Is that how high status men think? Is that thought serving you? The answer is clearly no. So why are you thinking like that, right? That is something, I teach in my programs, is like to remove that. You got to remove that thinking, because that thinking is not serving you. No matter if that thinking is loud or it sounds congruent to you or it makes sense to you, it's not helping you with your objective, which is to be better with women. So you got to remove that. That being said, moving on, it's to understand the blueprints that are within people's psychology. If you can understand people's psychology, their astrological signs, their defaults, then you can see who you have chemistry with a lot fucking quickly, and you know what questions to ask. So really, talking to people, what do I say? It's like, well, you go into asking the questions that help you get to know that person, to help either seduce them, or maybe they're not right for you. You're like, oh, you know what? This person's not right for me. I'm not going to click with them. Oh, you're this thing, and then you pass them on to your friends, right? You can do that as well. Or you can just become friends with them, right? You can friend zone them. Maybe if you don't have the exact chemistry with the girl, but there's still a little bit of attraction there, you can establish that friendship and bond as well. So I just want to express this to you. Astrological signs, they do work. And if you want more tips on how to seduce certain astrological signs, let me know, because I would love to put out more content for you if you do. And also too, what other conversation topics or what questions to ask, comment down below and I'll help you there. But yeah, definitely when you're getting to know someone, it's like you want to know their personality matrix. Like what is the psychology that's running them? What is their birth date? What are their passions, right? There are certain things, if you get to know someone, you can kind of understand the individual at a base level, and then see then you can make a judgment call. Like, okay, is this person right for me or is it not, right? Or maybe you just feel off the bat that you have good chemistry with them and you don't need any of this. Who knows? So anyways, I hope this helps. If you need any more questions or info on how to seduce the women of your dreams, or just the women that you meet in your local bar, let me know. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace, my friend.